back. We're here for part 2 of our Staycation series. We're in day 3, tournament 3. Let's just get into it.
And before we start reviewing any hands, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Hockey Stick for providing a room. If you register for these series events, which I think they have every quarter, a room comes included, and the rooms are gorgeous, spacious. They all have great views, unbelievably large bathrooms. So highly recommend playing the next one. So now that you've seen our room, let's grab our coffee and head down to the poker room. Today is a doozy. We have a $300 bounty event where half of the entrance fee goes to bounties and the other half goes to the prize pool. Here, everyone gets this bounty chip you see on the screen worth $100, and every time you knock someone out, you get their chip. And vice versa, every time you get knocked out, you give a chip. So if you have 10 knockouts and you have 10 chips on you, and you get knocked out, you give one away to the person who knocked you out. With that in mind, we are playing for bounties. Yes, cashing is great, but if there's free money out there before having to make the cash, I am going to try to grab every single bounty possible. Let's see some hands, and let's see how we do. So the first hand we finally pick up after being card dead for a long time and bleeding out already is Ace of Spades, 3 of Diamonds. It is raised to 300 at blinds 100, 100, and I make the call on the button, and we go 4 ways to a flop. The flop comes favorable, flopping ace high, ace of clubs, queen of hearts, 9 of diamonds. It's going to go check, check, and then bet for 300 for the pre-flop aggressor. Standard C bet. I don't see why we are folding or getting crazy here or ballooning the pot. So we call, and we go 3 ways to a turn, which comes bink 3 of spades. Action's going to go check, bet for 800, and we are going to call the 800 with 2 pair. Now we're going heads up to a river, which is the 7 of hearts. Great for us. We get checked into, and let's play for whatever little stacks we have left. We shove, snap fold, finally pick up a pot. This hand's a little funky. We are in a blind versus blind situation. I'm in the big, and the small blind to my right had opened it for 2 big blinds, and we call. I'm still at 100, 100. And I think this hand shows what it's like to identify a good spot of trying to put an opponent into the blender. And let me show you what I'm talking about. We're going to jump straight into the hand on the turn. The turn, all the cards are 4 of hearts, 6 of clubs, 7 of diamonds, 10 of spades. And let's see what our opponent does here. Okay, so because our opponent bets $1,400 into a $400 pot, I don't think that means he likes his hand. I think he wants to end it right now. And he can have a variety of hands. Pocket kings, pocket aces, which doesn't make sense of how he played it pre-flop, so let's scratch that out. And maybe it's a medium pair. Maybe he's got 8s and 9s, and he just wants to end it. Maybe jacks at the top of his range, because I don't think aces through queens are realistic here. So if that's the case, well, I got a big blocker to the straight, which means he doesn't. So I'm going to float large here to reevaluate on the river and see if I can't steal it. Okay, the river brings in, I think, the best card in the world for me here with the 2 of hearts. Because if our opponent does have 8s or 9s, and he was blocking 8, 9, the straight, 6, 7, 8, 9, then now he's not blocking 3, 5, which I am blocking with the 5, and another heart comes in. And I have a heart, which blocks the flush draw. Now, if you're following everything here, I think he's blocking the top end of the straight. I'm blocking the middle and lower end of the straight as well as the flush draw. So let's put 8s, 9s, even jacks in a tough position here. And let's go big. Let's bet 3/4 pot-ish. I think I'm going to go 2,200 and see what our opponent does.
Do I get the same offer as your buddy over there? This is harder.
Oh my god, I'm
We get the fold. Let's go. And I show because I've been showing with the goods a lot, and now I want to show a bluff to let my opponents know I can have it, and sometimes I don't, and you're gonna have to pay to find out. And it really puts them in the blender. And you gotta practice these spots where you gotta apply logic and go, what do they have? What do I have? What could they not have? And find their range and do your best to exploit it. And remember, I'm bad at recording and taking notes. I've got to get better. But somehow our stack ends up looking like this. We don't have any knockouts, but we're trending in the right direction very early on in this tournament. And we end up surviving to the first break in the event. There should be a few more entrants, I imagine, during the break. So around 350 to 360 is probably going to be around the max, 225 left. Surviving to the break is a big deal here because at the end of the first break, late registration ends. And in these dailies, our levels are only 30 minutes long, so it goes relatively quick. So having to survive to the end of late reg is always a self-high five.
Table 3.
Here's a doozy. We get ace-10 suited, under the gun +1, and we raise it to 700. And we get 2 callers, just the 2 blinds, and we go 3 ways to a flop. And the flop comes pretty stellar considering the ebbs and flows of the tournament. You can see our stack took another hit. Comes ace high, ace 4-2 with 2 clubs. It gets checked to us, and we make a continuation bet, pretty standard. Looking to make it small. If we went 700 pre-flop and then 700 here on the flop, just 1/3, and we get a bite. So let's see what the turn brings. Turn actually pairs the board with the 4 of hearts, and now I'm looking to play for stacks. So I'm thinking, what is the smallest I can bet to get him to really shove over top of me? And we're okay getting it in here because ace jack, ace queen, ace king probably 3 bets me pre-flop. So I'm thinking he's got a smaller pocket pair. And the run out's going to be clean with the 9 of diamonds, and he flips over 8-9. A little confused of what happened here and why they made that play, but I mean, we'll take the pop.
You just became.
Okay, time to bust out the popcorn. We have ace 4 of clubs in middle position. And after opening and getting 3 other callers, we go 4 ways to a flop. And we flop a pair and the nut flush draw. Get jammed into us by the 2 early stacks. Re-jam ourselves and have one person behind who jams all in. 4-way all in pot where I cover the other 3 players.
All right.
Do you want to just flip it now? You're ahead.
I don't recall what everyone's hands are, but we end up turning 2 pair We missed the flush draw, but 2-pair hold. We scoop a 4-way all-in massive pot, pick up 3 bounties for $300.
Seats open! 3 players out.
Tell Lance it's by his favorite blogger.
Hey fella, remember who your favorite dealer is.
Due to the type of tournament this is and the amount of chips we've gathered from picking up a few other pots since then, we're bounty hunting. So anytime a small stack moves in and I have a face card, or I've got 2 suited cards, or I've got a connected 2-pair cards, I'm going for blood in everything. So there's a lot of things I'm not showing, but I'm constantly head hunting, trying to pick up as many pots as I can, specifically if there's a bounty involved. Now, with a sub 100 people left and the 100 black chips removed from stacks, it is time to cue the bounty hunting music. If you haven't gotten the gist, the moral of the story is we can't stop, won't stop. Any 2 cards or premiums, we're just being dealt the hottest run I've ever had in my life. We are hitting on any 2 cards we play and absolutely running over everyone who wants to get in the pot with us.
I don't need the face necessarily.
Let me do up 100 yellow.
Okay. What do you want? Good.
D-Nip, last call, 2043 MDM.
It's going to be a highlight.
2043 game. Yes, 2043 game. V, 2043 game.
Yeah, no, 100% you're going to be there.
Victor L, 2043 game. Victor L, table 19.
There's 1 for 1.
Thank you. Thank you.
Young, 14. 14.
Thanks, brother.
Oh yeah, sexy. This is the part right there.
Jeffrey King, 816.
We have played down to the final 4 tables, but I am not taking my foot off the gas. I'm still playing for stacks. I'm looking to collect bounties, putting pressure on everyone, looking to final table this bad boy. So now we're down to the final 3 tables. In the big blind, I face a late position raise where I have pocket tens. And instead of 3-betting, which I should be doing probably 100% of the time, I elect to call and see a flop so I don't balloon a pot post-flop. The flop comes favorable, king, queen, jack. Open-ended straight draw, but it's all cards above us. So the flop goes check, check. The turn, I believe I bet 25,000. I can't tell you what the blinds are right now, but that's probably about half pot. And when he calls on the turn, I think I am behind, way behind. So on the river, I check and am fortunate enough to find a check back and pick up the pot.
Have a pair.
And I would have needed one of those to make one straight.
Playing good's great. Running hot's even better. I'd rather be lucky than good any day. And our steamroll just seems to continue. We're able to find the last knockout here, which gets us to the final table. And what's surprising for how many chips and knockouts that we have, we're about an average stack-ish going into this final table.
No faces, I'm not getting anyone at all. Don't worry, I promise.
If we weren't running hot, what do we call this? First hand on the final table, suited Jack 2. We open, we basically get a little more than min-raise for an all-in call. And the board double pairs for Jack High to win when we were behind against pocket twos.
That's going in the vlog.
There is another big stack at the table who is just picking off people. And in the blink of an eye, we lose player after player after player.
I had it, right? Calling was, I got a big hand. I mean,
And before you know it, we were down to 4 after this 3-way all-in hand with 2 knockouts. I was not involved. And we end up chopping the event. And believe it or not, the stacks were so large, I ended up chopping at 3rd place. So congratulations, everyone who cashed in this event. Okay, so a long time later, we finished the video, and we will, Sora and I will see you next time, I guess, huh? Thanks for sticking around to the end. We'll try to put out a video, not once every couple of months, but I don't know, we got the World Series of Poker coming up. We'll see what happens. Wish us luck. And I've also always wanted to do one of these.